So Amelia, you want to know about the area below Monarch Grove. When will they start building? Well, I was just down there yesterday. I took a break from editing, and you know, the problem is not the lots right now in Wellpoint. The problem is the stuff south of Wellpoint that you know there's the road. It's pretty much done, but everything south of there in what's it called? Hollow Oak, Shallow, whatever. Yeah, Hollow Oaks, and Edenville. No, Eden. I don't know. I get all the names mixed up. That's why I have notes when I do my voiceover. Right? I look like the guy from Liberty Mutual when I'm doing my editing. But anyway, um, so all that area down there, there's still a lot of heavy work going on. I think it's probably going to be about another 3 months before they actually start um, building houses there. It's unfortunate, but you know there's just so much work going on. It's hard to move everything. Let's see the status of a hospital near Middleton. Good question. We lost University of Florida. They backed out for a couple of reasons. Change in leadership was one of it. Change in leadership in the county was another. Became a very hostile business environment for a short time. But anyway, what I do know is that the developer is working with some other providers, and they are apparently getting close, but nothing has been released yet. So, it's probably 6 months to a year away before we hear an announcement. Building a hospital is a big, big task. I've been involved with a couple of them when I was working in construction, and these are multi-year projects to build a hospital. Let's see, how many ish residents today, and how many do you imagine? Okay, so there's about 100 and I believe they said 150,000 residents was the last word for here in the villages, and in 10 years, oh my gosh, who knows? But we can run some quick numbers. 10 years, they're building an average of 3,000 homes. That's 30,000 homes in the next 10 years. So just say two people per home, that's another 60,000 people. So we're probably looking at 200, 210,000 people. Villages doesn't have, the Villages doesn't have anything on their website regarding Wellpoint. You're absolutely right, Emilio. They don't put up anything. Um, they they don't share anything until they're ready to sell. And that's, remember, their business, their job is to sell houses. And right now they're trying to sell houses in Monarch Grove, or excuse me, not Monarch Grove, Moultrie Creek, and they're trying to sell houses in Dabney. So you're not going to hear anything about Wellpoint or Edenton or whatever the heck the name of that other village is. I could look it up, I guess. Um, but if they're not selling houses there, you're not going to hear anything from them. Let's see. You are live again. Some weird hiccup. Okay. List my RV. I don't know. Okay, let's see. What else is next? Thank you, Muskie. Appreciate you watching the premiere. So, now it's on the other channel. Okay. I'm looking at two different monitors right now, and the one on the left is lagging by about 1 second from the one on the right. I'll keep looking at the one on the right, otherwise I'll just get confused. Anybody else got any questions? The building here in the villages is just an amazing feat. I was in construction for about 20 years. Most of that time I was working as a project manager, and I've seen some really lousy projects over the years, and some real big screw ups about coordination and that's something you just don't see here. They have their act together. They are very well managed. To build houses at this rate takes an incredible amount of coordination. And right now also in addition to what you call it, the houses, they're also building basically two complete downtown areas. So that's a tremendous amount of work, and to do it with so few hiccups, that's a real accomplishment. Let's see, we got a couple more comments. Can anybody go through the new Field of Dreams, or those buildings, or only those buildings in the villages? Oh, okay, the Street of Dreams, you mean? Um, as far as I know, they're open to the public. Obviously, if you go in, you're going to be greeted by a salesman. They're going to want to sell you a house. That's best I can tell you, Muskie. Uh, how about new lots by Richmond area? How many homes and types of homes? Okay, so the new section over in Richmond is going to be about 150 homes between the two sections. And it looks like Courtyard Villas and what's the other one? Either veranda homes or designer homes. Verandas and designer homes are pretty much the same thing. The only difference really is whether you have a fenced in yard or not. Okay. Are there many Canadians in the villages? Yeah, there's actually quite a few Canadians. I have probably a dozen Canadian friends. Believe it or not, I do have friends. But yeah, there's quite a number of Canadians that come down. Most of them are seasonal residents. I don't like to use the word snowbirds; it brings up bad connotations. But they're seasonal residents that come down for 4 or 5 months at a time because I guess they've got some 6-month rule for Canada. Uh, is Dabney near Brownwood? No. Dabney is about 5 or 6 miles south of Brownwood. It's a hike. The villages are spreading out. It's like 26 miles from the north end to the south end. Let's see. What else do we got? How long before anything opens in Eastport? Good question, Craig. Well, if you saw the video, uh, the medical facility, Builders Health Facility, is the farthest along. Building 12, which is the sales office, is next farthest. I mean, we're looking probably a year and a half. So I would say probably next fall or winter. Yeah, no problem, Carl. Yeah, it's a hike, but my experience has been get in a golf cart, take your time, relax. I mean, we're all retired here. What's the hurry? So it's not that big of a deal. What town center is near Dabney? Um, there's not. At this point, there's not a town center near Dabney. Eastport will be in close proximity to Dabney. The path to get there right now would be having to go about 3 miles north to cross over the uh, Southern Oaks Bridge, and then go another mile, and you'd be in Eastport. Uh, there is a county road agreement that widens County Road 470, which goes along the south side of Dabney, that the developer has with Lake County. They're supposed to build another bridge. Will they add multimodal lanes? I don't know. Nothing's been said, but it sure seems the logical choice, especially with that location also being where the hospital is proposed to go. So, um, if I were to put some money on it, I'd say that's probably going to happen in a couple of years. But there's a lot of work going on. It's hard to say. Let's see. Yep, that's right. Good catch, Muskie. Sawgrass is near um, Dabney. It's about 3 miles away. It's not a town square, but it does have live entertainment. It's got a couple of restaurants, a couple of food stores. Let's see. Just bought a home in the village of Liberty Park. Looking forward to being your neighbor when we close in March. Well, good. congratulations, Mark. Welcome to the Villages. You're going to love it here. Let's see. You have two different routes to Brownwood. Both are beautiful and fun. Yeah, good point, Muskie. Yeah, you know, the nice thing about going in a golf cart, you take your time. The weather, it's Florida. The weather's nice. You love it here. It doesn't get any better. So anyway, yeah, getting to Brownwood from Dabney though, it's quite the trip. I've been down to Dabney in my golf cart once. It took me about 40 minutes to get there, and I live about a mile north of Brownwood. Let's see. Is there any smell from the wastewater treatment plant? No, there's not. This is a very, it's a wastewater treatment plant. Uh, you know what, Mark? I just realized what you're asking. You're asking about the wastewater treatment plant that's up by Liberty Park. I go by there 2, 3 times a day sometimes. And I like the nice weather here in Florida, so I got my truck windows down. I've never smelled anything. I mean, obviously there could be a problem at one point or another, but it's a very modern wastewater treatment plant. Smells are not an issue. Let's see. Golf cart. Muskie, you're a party animal. You can pool hop and bar hop between Dabney and Brownwood. Okay, why not, right? It's a drinking community with a little golfing problem. That's all it is. No, Villages is a great place. I love it here. Any more questions? Well, let's see. Any talk about any talks about? Okay, so Amelia wants to know about big department stores south, like up at 441. I've heard one rumor, but I can't find any substantiation for it. Something going in near the Villages Grown, but that's on the south side of 44, still north of the Turnpike. The big box department stores, they have their own criteria. And they have to be able to endure the boom and bust cycle that the population goes through here in the Villages. I mean, right now things people say are crowded. I don't think it's that bad, but I will tell you that come about May or June, going out to eat here is wonderful because the crowds are definitely less. But I don't. Yeah, going through that boom and bust cycle is a hard part for a business. They have to be willing to endure the lean times. So attracting businesses here, especially the big box stores, it's pretty difficult. But the Villages is working at it continuously. We got any more questions here? People like Don. Oh, thanks, Muskie. I appreciate the kind words. Let's see. Yeah, the Villages is an interesting business environment. Again, it's the oldest community in the country as far as average age goes. And we as senior citizens don't buy the same stuff that, the younger families do. It's that simple. So, the market has to adjust to that. Again, like I said a few minutes ago, the boom and bust cycle, being able to endure a cut of, let's say, 40% of the businesses, or 40% of the population for a business, that's pretty difficult, especially if you're a restaurant. The restaurants are murder because they have people that most of them work for tips. Well, when you lose 40% of your business because the population goes away, their income decreases, and it's hard to retain a good wait staff when their wages are fluctuating. Now, there are some places like Daryl's over in Pinellas Plaza. The girls there, they are kept busy every single morning. I go there every Saturday morning for breakfast after playing golf, and the place is always busy. They're not hurting for work, but an evening restaurant, a steakhouse or something like that, it's a lot more difficult. We get a lot of people though that like to go out for breakfast either before their golf game or after their golf game, or they got morning activities. So the breakfast business around here is pretty good. I think there's the Broken Egg. There's a place now over in where's it at? Magnolia Plaza. It's another breakfast restaurant. There's a place over in Trailwinds called First Watch. That's another breakfast restaurant. Not my kind of breakfast restaurant. I'm a bacon and eggs kind of guy, and theirs is tofu and whole grain, this and that. Matt, I'll pass. Just not my speed. What else? Let's see, Muskie. I think as people, Dawn Village residents, move into all those massive number of apartments, it will equal out the boom and bust famine cycle. I don't think so, Muskie. I mean, people moving into those apartments, let's be real. Villagers that live here have a higher level of disposable income. I'm not saying everybody's rich, but people that are living here have saved. They have a good retirement nest egg, and they're able to go out to eat. Younger couples raising kids, disposable income is tough. And going out to eat, there are better ways to do it, better ways to do things. Let's see, we got a John Case. What's he saying? As a fan of yours, I'd like to comment on your studio and things I find interesting. Exercise equipment, green LEDs, NAS storage, 2 pair of glasses, loose cash, Dell monitors, earbuds, gaming chair. Loose cash. Oh, oh yeah, sorry. Did some teaching work. But yeah, it's my setup. Yep, Dell monitors. There's actually 3 of these big widescreen monitors that you see back here. Those 2 are attached to my Apple Studio, my Mac Studio, excuse me, and with 2 pair of glasses. Well, that's because I can't see the computer with my other glasses. But, what else? I know there are lots for sale by Moultrie Creek. Well, what do you think? Being Oh, so Amelia wants to know. I know I know there are lots for sale by Moultrie Creek, but what do you think? Being so close to the high school, lots of vehicle traffic? No, no, because Moultrie Creek is apart from the high school. It's the traffic isn't going to pass through Moultrie Creek. That's Bar Boulevard. I guess theoretically, if there was a traffic jam, it would, but no, it's not going to impact it whatsoever. Green LEDs. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm just looking at John's message here. Things, exercise equipment. Yeah, that's one of those treadmills. Makes a great coat rack. And you're right. It is a gaming chair. I did buy from I think it's Alienware or Dell a gaming chair. Why? Because gamers are pretty hard on their equipment, so they're built to last. And that's why I went with it. Might help. Muskie says might help bring a Costco. I know that the Villages has been courting Costco for years, and Costco is a tough nut to crack. Their target demographic is businesses, and You know, while yes, there's a lot of businesses here in Sumter County, a good percentage of them are construction related, with most of the people out in the field. They don't have a big office staff. You got a big office staff, that's where the people like, or where people shop for Costco. Beer of the day, Alpine. Let's see. Oh, Amelia's got a question. What are your thoughts about those bonds? So about the bonds being so high in the South. Here's a here's something for you. The bonds, the next bond is going to be even higher, and the bond after that, higher yet. Why? Because prices go up. You know, you can't compare the bonds today to the bonds I to the bond that was on my house when I bought it. That was 10 years ago. And you know, just like the cost of a gallon of milk or a gallon of gas, a loaf of bread, uh, everything goes up over time. So yes, the bonds are going to continue to go up. Uh, you're going to pay it no matter what. There's a fixed and finite cost for developing the land, putting in the streets, putting in the stormwater system, the water pipes, everything has to be paid for. Most builders will roll it into the cost of the house and you never see it. And I find that humorous because sometimes we see homes for sale outside of the villages where they say, oh, no bond. Okay, that just means your house price is higher. Um, you know, the good thing about the bond, and I've said this many times over the years, it really has helped make the villages successful because they're not tying up their cash in uh, water pipes and sewer lines and things like that, because they get paid through the bond system for the infrastructure that they're putting in. They get paid for that as it goes in. They don't have to wait until the last house is sold to collect all their money. That gives them better cash flow for building things like swimming pools and golf courses. I mean, how many times have you heard and seen developments where they say, well, over here is going to be the fifth hole for the country club when they build it next year, and then they never build it. And you know, we don't have that here. The amenities and things like that are always built as the communities are being built. You know, so yes, they are higher, but everything is more expensive. I mean, if you look at the bonds from 20 years ago that are up in the northern part of the village, yeah, they were, you know, 20,000 dollars, let's say. That's not much. Designer home. When I moved in 10 years ago, typically in District 10 was about 25 to $30,000, depending on the lot size. You know, yes, things have gone up in price. Everything goes up in price. Uh, they finally put a pool. Uh, no, Boosters Country Club is not going to have a pool. I looked at the plans when I was doing the voiceover just to verify that, and there is no location for a pool. Is Annette wants to know, is Dabney south? Yes, that is as far south as you can live in the villages right now. Is secret crop? Uh, Mike O wants to know, is the Secret Promise acquisition located on both sides of the turnpike where it crosses over 48? 48, 48. See, now you're going to make me go and look at a map because I don't remember where 48 is. So William says we still have a bond of 17K in CDD 10. Yep. 30-year bond. Yep. You probably still have a balance of 17K. You know, whether you pay it off or not early, that's a personal choice. Me, I made the decision if I was going to be here in the same house more than 6 years, I was paying it off. So I did. Watching golf on TV is crazy. Patrick says watching golf on TV, making there's an icon behind here. I can't see it. My screen is hiding some of your text. I can't see what it says. Watching golf on TV, making something crazy. That's all I can see. Let me see. I'll put a. Oh, watching golf on TV is making me crazy. Okay. You save. William says you save interest if you pay the bond off early. Absolutely, you're right. You're absolutely right. You do. But is it? The question is, where are you going to get the money from? If you're pulling out of your retirement savings, you lose interest that you gain on that. It depends on how your investments are going. For me, the break point was 6 years. All right, let me pull up the map on 48. Where is 48? There is. So yes, State Road 48. There is property on both sides of it. They already own the property on the south side. The north side of 48 was Secret Promise. The property on the south side of 48 was part of the old Renaissance Trail development. They acquired that a few years ago. That was that was a part of CDD 14, and about 2 weeks ago, the CDD 14 board passed a resolution that got rid of that section of CD 14, as well as some on the other side of the turnpike. So now CDD 14 is just the villages of Lake Denham, Dabney, and Newell, and of course the Enclave. That section that was part of 14 will probably be part of CD 17 or 18, whatever they come up with, part of what Secret Promise is. The Secret Promise acquisition was a long time in coming. I'd been watching and tracking that for about 5 years. Something is off, can't hear you. Uh-oh. I hit something on the microphone? Now we can. Okay. Unschool wants to know, if you could live in a different village, which one would you choose and why? Wow. So I'm in Hillsboro. So right now I'm pretty much in the middle of things. I'm about a mile from Brownwood. There's no bad village that I know of. There are some better than others. I guess that's all perspective. For me, the village isn't the location, it's the neighbors, your friends that you make in your neighborhood. I live in a Courtyard Villa community. We're a fairly close Courtyard Villa community, and I'm not moving. I get too good of friends here, and I don't want to change that. But if I had to move someplace, oh man, the Finney area is gorgeous. Personally, I wouldn't live too near the turnpike. I don't like the noise, but I'm 4 miles from the turnpike right now. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, when I go out and get the newspaper and sit on the front porch, I can hear the turnpike noise. I can also hear the trains in Wildwood. So, getting away from the noise is a minor issue, I guess. But I can't think of one I'd prefer to live in. There's so much that each of them have to offer. Bill wants to know, did a lifestyle visit a few weeks ago, hard to describe to anyone who's never been in TV, what it's like and how big it currently is, and what it's growing to in the future. I absolutely agree. It's growing. It's an amazing community. All right. That's going to be another, massive expansion. It probably added another 2 years. into the life cycle for building. What I mean by that is right now they probably have, well, before Secret Promise, they probably had 20, 25 years worth of land to continue to build and grow. So they probably bought themselves another 2 years. Okay, let's see. This is, hi Don, I'm thinking of purchasing a home in Well Point. How far of a golf cart ride would it be to Brownwood? Um, wow. You know, I don't really think of it like that, but it's probably 20 minutes to Brownwood. But, you know, if you're going to buy in Well Point, you're probably not going to go to Brownwood. You know, in another 2 years, we'll probably see that Eastport is in full swing and everything is open. And then you're, you know, 3 or 4 minutes away by golf cart to Eastport. So it'll be close. Let's see. Any predictions on how many houses will be built in 2024? I know from talking to some of my sources that, you know, where they're sitting right now with last year's numbers, a little over 3,000, that's a real comfortable spot for them. And, you know, that's pretty much what they're geared for. So we'll probably see another 3,000 plus or minus a few hundred in 2024. 2022 and 2021 were definitely boom years. They were catching a lot of people that were realizing I don't have to sit up north in the snow and cold and work. I can work remotely. Or people that retired early because of COVID. They had a big boom with that, and it worked to their favor. You know? But it really stressed the construction crews. They were going like crazy. I know a lot of the guys that work in construction out here, and they're like, man, you know, we're working 6 10s sometimes, 6 10-hour days a week. That's pretty hard on the body, you know. So now they're back to a more reasonable level. How are you coming along with your Final Cut Pro learning curve? Oh, Final Cut Pro and I are not friends. I mean, I have the horsepower. You can see my Mac Studio right over here in the background. It's the most powerful one they make. I maxed it out because I knew I was going to be doing a lot of video editing. I'm still learning. So, and it's a steep learning curve. Got another one for you. I think you said Bexley will end into 471. Any plans to develop south from that point? So, good question. 471, you know, it's going to curve down. You know, if you saw the map where Fire Station 49 was going, that's the county road agreement map. It does curve down to 471. The property does continue on almost down to Center Hill. They recently acquired another 900 acres south of that. It's not connected to the current property. I can't remember that. It's in the community of Mascot in Lake County. Will they bridge that gap? If I was a betting man, I'd say yeah. Let's see. You know, they're going to continue to acquire land as long as people will sell it. And if people will sell it, they're going to buy it. It's how they make their inventory. That's how they build the communities. They do have several plots of land that are disconnected from the villages proper here in Sumter County. One of them over by the county line on 44, the west side of the county, is a huge chunk of land. What they do with it, it's anybody's guess at this point. What's your opinion on wood frame houses and stucco houses? Any better than the other? Well, if you're going to modify the house, you know, you're going to add a room or something like that, then The stick and frame houses are definitely the easier option. The stucco, the block homes and that, um, they they're a little harder to make changes to, so it becomes a little more expensive. But they're definitely solid. These new tilt wall homes or prefab walls that they're doing right now, the advantage that they have over even the block homes is that in a block home, the rebar only runs vertically. And there's a gap where they have to put the window in, so they got to fill that in. With the tilt wall, um, the windows are put in when the walls are made, so the concrete flows all the way into the window frame. You're not going to have any air leakage, but also the rebar runs vertically and horizontally, so you have a very, very strong wall. Um, you know, we looked at both the sided home and the stucco or block home. Actually, my home is a courtyard villa, and at the time they were doing poured concrete. They put up forms and they put in rebar, and then they would fill it with concrete. And next day later, they take down the forms, and now I got a solid concrete wall. Uh, we like the look of the stucco better than the sided. Let's see. Next question. What's your opinion? Okay, we talked about that one. Mark Ryan wants to know, do maintenance assessments add to the tax bill increase very often? And if so, what have been historical increases? Ah, good question. So maintenance assessments are not, they are not a county tax. They are an assessment issued by the respective CDD that you open in, that you live in. They do appear on your county tax bill. They have grown moderately, not very fast over the years. I served 7 years as a CDD supervisor in CDD 10 before stepping into the county position. The maintenance assessment went down 6% one year, and it went up 8% about 4 years later. And this past year, it went up another 15%. So we had 2 increases and 1 decrease in a 10-year time frame. It really depends on what the needs are of the CDD. They're not based on a millage rate. There's a formula that's used for it. You can watch my video on the maintenance assessment. It talks about that. But the supervisors are all homeowners. They all live in the same CDD that the homeowners do, that they're going to raise the assessment on. So their conscience is going to hit them as well as anybody else. We're fortunate we have a good district staff. They manage things well for us, and the contracts that are issued, because of the size of the villages, they don't just, for example, landscaping. For somebody to cut the grass in CDD 10. Well, they may have a contractor who will do CDD 9, 10, and 11. So there's volume savings. So it's like going to Costco. You buy 10 gallons of ketchup, you get it at a penny an ounce. But they don't go up very often. Fortunately, some of them have dropped them because the reserves are high enough. But again, a lot depends on inflation is the biggest thing. What's good about being a county commissioner? What's good about it? I joke, but I really enjoy serving the people and helping people out and making good decisions that benefit everybody in the community. It's been controversial. You hear certain groups say, all the county commissioners are in the developer's pocket. I know the other 4 county commissioners fairly well. Not one of them is in the developer's pocket. Nobody wants to be, but we have to look out for all of the county. And the county consists of the villages. It consists of the 5 cities in Sumter County. It consists of our rural part of the county with its farms and ranches. but it also consists of our businesses. And our businesses are a huge part of our community. You wouldn't want to live here if there were no restaurants and no stores, okay? So it has an impact. The sales tax we collect, that's the second largest source of revenue in the county budget. So, it's about 20%, 20 to 25% of what the ad valorem tax is. So it's a big chunk of our revenue. If we alienate our businesses, people go elsewhere. And, I've long been a proponent that businesses don't pay taxes. They collect them and they turn them over to the government, but they don't pay them because taxes come before profits. Taxes are the same as labor and fuel and materials and everything else. It's just another cost. So, you're not going to, all you'll do is tax a business out of leaving. Let's see. Hey, Don, I will be in Village as soon as my numbers come in. Okay, Patrick says he'll be in the village as soon as his numbers come in. What is the likelihood of our house? What is the likelihood of your house closing on time? 99.99%. They don't miss closing. I've been watching them build for 5 years since I've been running my business, and it's a well-oiled machine. The only time I've seen them miss closing dates was during COVID when they had a problem with their window supplier, and that delayed a bunch of houses a couple of weeks. But that's the only time I've seen the closing delayed. So no, your closing is not going to be delayed. Eastport, okay. Unschool says Eastport will be fill in the blank. Eastport will be what? Open, year and a half, 2 years. An incredible place, absolutely. Watching it going right now, there's going to be so much going on there between the recreation and the golf and the businesses and this waterfront entertainment area. It's definitely going to be an interesting place. Does that answer your question on school? Oh, wow, we've been at this 45 minutes. Okay. We'll continue on until about 3:30, then we'll call it a day. I gotta go get some lunch. There's always questions. Thank you for the one about the maintenance assessment, Mark. We got 3 different things that you got to pay for here in the village: the maintenance assessment, the bonds, and the amenity fee. There's so much misinformation. I put out a couple of videos 3 years ago covering each of those. They're still valid. I'm working on doing a refresh of them, putting them out with some new numbers because the numbers have changed. But the maintenance assessment, it's only as needed. The bond is a one-time thing, and once you pay it off, it's gone. You don't have to worry about it. And the amenity fee, well, they can't arbitrarily raise it. It's the price of your amenity fee is controlled by the Consumer Price Index. Is the CPI accurate? It's fair, but it's a political football, and it always underestimates what the cost of living increases are. Unschool just asked a great question. Will they be able to keep alligators out of Central Lake? I'll get back to that in just a second. But the amenity fee, again, they can't raise it except for the CPI. There are 3 methods to raise it. One is, again, the CPI. The other way to do it would be if the residents came and said, we want you to build a new, I don't know, let's say an indoor pool. A developer said, okay, it's going to cost us $1 million to build it, and the operating costs are going to be, $200,000 a year. I'm just throwing numbers out there. So then it would take a majority of the residents to agree to that, and then they could raise the amenity fee to cover those costs. That's never happened here in the villages. The only other way that the amenity fee goes up is if you buy a new house, whether it's new or pre-owned. When you buy the house, you automatically get assessed the prevailing rate, which I think right now is like 194. They just raised it last month. And then from that point, you start seeing the CPI adjustments. But you know, I've been in my house for almost 10 years now. My amenity fee, I think, is 187, something like that. So, you know, if I were to sell it today and you bought it tomorrow, it would be 194. That's the way it is. And that 194 is something that the developer comes up with. They look at their own operating cost for the amenities that they operate, and they have to be able to break even. And with the rising cost, they'll adjust the prevailing rate for the new homes. Again, that prevailing rate only affects the new homes or your home after you sell it for the new buyer. That new prevailing rate does not impact you if you continue to own your home. As far as the alligators, no, they will not be able to keep alligators out of that lake. There are alligators everywhere in Florida. There's a huge woodlands over there by the prison that they'll migrate from. You know, there are alligators in every retention pond that I have seen just about in the villages, so they're not going to keep them out. Let's see. Jim asked, I heard from a Home Depot employee that it will be open in May, 466 in Powell. Good a source as any, I guess. May, probably not unreasonable. They're moving pretty quick on it. So yeah, it's not an unreasonable thing. Amelia asks, do you think the prices will go down further if they can't sell new houses? They're selling 10 houses a day. Okay. You know, they routinely make, you know, 3 or 4% adjustments on house prices, and they'll stay like that for a couple of weeks. Then they'll return the price to its previous, and they'll put some other ones on sale. So it's just a matter of trying to move the property. Let's see. Gracie is going to the villages in mid-March. Congratulations, Gracie. So Jennifer K wants to know, have you set a date for this year's spring thing fundraiser? Yes. That was just in the nonprofit moment on the, the video that just came out a little while ago. And it is the 23rd of March from 11 till 6. And it will be at, it's on Powell Road, Millennial Park. And you'll be able to get to it by golf cart. We're looking at having some police presence there to help with crossing Powell Road. The good thing is that alligators taste like chicken. Okay, William. Yeah, actually, they do taste like chicken. I've had gator tail once. Unschool wants what might open in advance in Eastport prior to its full completion. Probably the village's healthcare facility will be one of the first things to open. The sales office will probably be definitely one of the first things to open. You know, they've started work in earnest now on the Olympia Recreation Center, so I think that will be a high priority item, and that will allow the opening of the ball fields and the lake for dragon boating. The dragon boaters are real excited about that lake. It's going to be a world-class facility. Gracie, Don, I know you don't want to start a rumor, but please tell me if I'm close or not. Is the new business by Hobby Lobby going to be Costco? I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't know what it's going to be for sure. I have some good ideas. I have some good information, but until I see it in writing, uh, it might as well be my barber's ex-girlfriend's brother-in-law that's telling me, because I don't trust anybody until I see it in paper. Um, do you have any updates on Harry and the Natives will open? No, but I'll tell you right now, they're burning money. There's a crane that's been sitting there for what, 3 weeks. Man, that crane sitting there is costing them money every single day in rental, and they haven't started moving yet. Um, any news of a Trader Joe's in the villages? No, haven't heard a word. Uh, thanks for the info. See you when I get there. Thanks, Emilio. Appreciate you tuning in. Where are we at? We're coming up on 1:30. All right. So this was fun. Let me know what you think. Drop some comments in the video. I decided to do this for a first time to see what's going to happen. One of the things that is coming is I am looking at a subscription service starting up the first of the month. Basically, it's going to be a minimal cost, like probably $2 a month. But for that, when you watch the videos, there's going to be no commercials. Well, I say there's going to be no commercials. When you see the intro and it says sponsored by, because of the way I produce that, there's no way really to take it out without reproducing that whole section. And the then and now segments are a very complicated process to produce. So those will stay embedded, but I'm turning off the YouTube ads. I'm taking out all my other advertisers' ads. So if you decide to subscribe to that service, you will have that advantage. The other thing is they will be out earlier than the public release. So for example, this one came out at noon today on Sunday. So probably at 6 o'clock on Friday evening, the membership version without ads and without and also being in 4K would be coming out. So let's see. Let's see. Boy, we got a bunch here that just flew in here. Trader Joe's. So we get there. What's the best car motorcycle rally you've been in? Locally. Locally, I don't want to say any because um, you know, I don't really. I'm not a big rally person. I do go to the Americade on occasion in Lake George. That's Lake George, New York. I like that one because it's more about riding. Unfortunately, many of the bike rallies turn out to be let's all go in and we'll buy some leather and some t-shirts and drink some beer. That's not my speed. I'd rather ride. Give me the mountains. Where are we at? Oh boy. What's the next live event? And we'll probably do this again in about 2 weeks when the next video comes out, Morgan or Mark. Love your channel and all your videos. Keep up the great work. Much appreciate all. Thank you very much, Bill. The format. Unschool says they'll pay the $2. Thank you. Great show. Tell us details about the spring fling on March 23rd. That's during the time I'll be visiting. So the spring thing is a multiple event. There will be vendors there. We'll have live music. There's a contractor showcase. So maybe you're looking for somebody to do a bathroom renovation for your house or something like that. There'll be people there. There'll be arts and crafts. There'll be other charitable organizations there. It's lots of food. The Millennial Park will be, I think, a better venue than last year because last year we were at the Polo Grounds, a great place, but it was too big and things were too spread out. So this is going to be a little more compact. Plus, we had some of our vendors that, they had artwork and things like that that didn't want to be outside because, they were predicting rain and it would ruin their artwork and things like that. So we have now the ability to have some indoor features. But again, live music. I think we have 2 bands scheduled to be there that'll trade off during the day. Lots of food, some good times. And let's see. I'll pay $5 for more frequent videos. Unschool, thank you. I appreciate that. Just to give you an idea of the effort that goes into it, um, just the then and now segment, which was about 6 minutes long, took about 10 hours to produce. The voiceover takes normally 10 to 12 hours to do the voiceover for a 30-minute, video. Uh, my general rule of thumb is an hour to an hour and a half of editing and work for every minute of video that you see. So producing them at a faster rate is tough, just because the production time is so long, because there's so many things going on. It's a lot different than doing a talking head video where you're just sitting in front of a camera talking and reading a script or reading your notes. I do a lot of research. This video, I think I burned through 2 full tanks of gas in my truck, driving around trying to find stuff, trying to investigate, see what's happening, and then of course going out and spending a day recording all the video. William wants to know, why did you move to the Villages? Good question. I was living here in Florida, about an hour south of the Villages in Haines City, and I was working construction. I came home one day from being in Fort Lauderdale all week. Debbie was sitting on the couch. Something was wrong. I finally got it out of her. She said, I'm bored and I'm lonely. We didn't have much of a community where we lived. I mean, I was president of the HOA for 6 years, and we had, I knew 3 people by name and sight. The rest of the community I didn't know. And, people would come home, they'd go in their house, nothing. We had done several visits to the Villages because it was close. We liked what we saw. After Debbie's pronouncement of being bored and lonely, we started looking in earnest. Every place we looked at, we probably looked at 15 or 20 different communities to move to, all had the same thing in common in their sales pitch. Well, we're better than the Villages because we realized, we know where the best place is. And that was the Villages. And I don't regret it. For Debbie and I, this was the first time we moved anywhere in our lives because it was what we wanted to. Both of us grew up in an Air Force family. I was career Navy. So every 3 or 4 years we moved because of the military. And then I worked construction for 20 years. That's a very transient lifestyle. Now we're here to stay. And it was a great choice. What I will be built. Les says, what will be built at the 470 and Dabney entrance? I don't know yet. I'm still looking for information on that. You're talking about that small piece of retail property. I do know it's going to be retail or commercial. Will it be a gas station? Will it be a strip mall? Will it be both? I don't know. It's suitable for either one, but it's hard to say. And I haven't found anything yet to confirm anything. What are you doing with the rest of the day? Well, I'm going to be watching some football this evening. And my 2 golden retrievers have ensured me that I need to go out in the yard and take care of some business out there. If they've taken care of business, oh my gosh. But yeah, I love my dogs. I wouldn't trade them for the world. But no, not a lot of plans. Going over to some neighbor's house to play some samba this evening also. Do you think Eastport is going to live up to its expectations? No, I don't think Eastport will live up to its expectations. I think it will exceed their expectations. I think it's going to be an incredible place just because of the way they're attacking it. And, the designers here in the Villages, they get better with each new development that they do. All right, folks, we've been at this over an hour, and I need to get some lunch and some more coffee. So I want to thank you all for watching, and we will do this again. Thanks a lot, folks. Have a good day. I got to figure out how to turn this thing off. I don't know how to turn it off. Oh, there it is, end stream. Thanks, everybody. Take care.